Most people think freedom means no rules, no structure, no routine, no constraints. Just doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the older I get, the more I realise something. The more I realise something uncomfortable. Chaos feels like freedom in the beginning, but eventually it becomes a prison. Because when your emotions decide your direction, your life becomes reactive. And reactive people rarely feel free for a very long time. Real freedom is different. Real freedom is built quietly, repeatedly, deliberately, through, unsurprisingly, structure. There's a strange thing about human beings. We say we want peace, but we resist the system that create it. We want calm, but avoid consistency. We want confidence, but reject repetition. We want clarity, but live in overstimulation. And then we wonder why the nervous system feels exhausted all the time. Because structure is not punishment. Structure is nervous system support. I used to think discipline was restrictive. Now I think discipline is compassionate. Because structure removes unnecessary suffering. It reduces decision fatigue. It reduces emotional volatility. It reduces panic. It creates predictability inside the body. And predictability creates safety. Right? Think about this. When someone is drowning emotionally, what usually disappears first? Routine. Sleep becomes chaotic. Food becomes chaotic. Thoughts become chaotic. Even the environment becomes chaotic. And so attention becomes chaotic as well. Everything starts fragmenting. And once fragmentation begins, the nervous system starts burning energy trying to regain orientation. This is why structure matters more during difficult periods, not less. And you know, the highest performers in the world, they understand it. Athletes, operators, pilots, special forces, elite coaches, surgeons. They're all under pressure. They do not rise to the level of emotion. They fall to the level of systems. That sentence changed my life when I truly understood it. Because when chaos appears, you cannot rely purely on motivation. Motivation is unstable. Emotion is unstable. Structure is what remains when emotion disappears. And structure doesn't need to look dramatic. That's the mistake most people make. They think structure means becoming robotic. No. Sometimes structure is incredibly simple. Wake up at a consistent time of the day. Drink water before caffeine. Walk before scrolling. Pause before reacting. Train when you said you would train. Breathe before responding. Sleep before exhaustion. Tiny stabilising behaviours. Tiny anchors. Tiny anchors of self-respect repeated consistently enough that they become identity. And identity changes behaviour far more than motivation ever will. Most people are trying to change outcomes without changing systems. But your systems are producing your life. Your repeated behaviours become your emotional baseline. Your emotional baseline becomes your perception. And your perception becomes your reality. Which means the quality of your structure eventually shapes the quality of your consciousness. Look at nature. Everything stable has structure. The tides, the seasons, breathing, the heartbeat, day and night. Even the universe itself moves rhythmically. Structure is not unnatural. Disconnection from structure is unnatural. And here's the paradox nobody talks about. The more structure you build, the more freedom you actually feel. Because now your mind isn't constantly negotiating with itself. You stop leaking energy into chaos. You stop restarting every Monday. You stop emotionally improvising your entire existence. You begin operating instead of reacting. And operators, we conserve energy. This changed massively for me personally. I started noticing the calmer periods of my life were never accidental. They were supported by invisible frameworks. Movement, breath work, silence, routine, reflection, recovery, and of course observation. Not perfection, never said that. Rhythm, there's a difference. Perfection destroys the nervous system. Rhythm regulates them. And regulated people see more clearly. That's why structure matters. Not because productivity gurus told you it does, but because your biology responds to consistency. Your body trusts repetition. Your mind stabilizes through familiarity. And your awareness sharpens when chaos reduces. People often ask, how do I become calmer? And honestly, sometimes the answer is less spiritual than people expect, especially from me. Go to sleep earlier. Reduce stimulation. Stop consuming chaos all day. Train consistently. Eat better food. Breathe slower. Create routines. Protect your attention. Observe your emotional patterns. And repeat. Yeah? That is nervous system architecture. Because eventually you realise freedom is not doing whatever you feel like. Freedom is no longer being enslaved by every feeling that arrives. That's different. Very different. The reactive mind says, I'll do it when I feel motivated. The structured mind says, I'll do it because this is who I am now. One creates temporary emotion, the other creates transformation. Many living examples of that this week, won't bore you with it. Just live though. Always open conversation. And maybe that's the real shift. Structure is not a cage, it's scaffolding. It supports the future version of you while you're still becoming them. The nervous system loves safety. The soul loves expansion. Healthy structure allows both to coexist. So if your life feels chaotic right now, don't try to control everything at once. Honestly, start smaller. One stabilising habit, one repeated action, one promise kept to yourself consistently. That's how structure begins. Quietly, not loudly, not dramatically. Quietly enough that most people overlook its power completely. But over time, structure changes behaviour. Behaviour changes identity. Identity changes destiny. And eventually you stop surviving chaos and start moving through it calmly. Because in the end, the goal was never control. The goal was capacity, and structure creates the freedom to carry more life without collapsing beneath it.